Colin Cowherd from The Herd with Colin Cowherd, where Kevin Stefanski ranks in his NFL head coaches list.
Number 8, Kevin Stefanski, the Browns. Come on, man. This has been a tire fire my entire life. 2-time coach of the year, 2 playoff appearances, won a playoff game with Baker Mayfield. The guy is a really sharp dude. He and Andrew Berry know what they're doing. The Browns had the worst record in the league when he took that over. And I'm sorry, that matters to me. What do you take over? I don't care if you're a radio host. I don't care if you're a businessman. What do you take over? He took over the league's biggest circus, and he's made the playoffs twice.
Casey, I don't often agree with Colin Cowherd, but when I do, it absolutely matters that they were 1-31. Now, the challenge before Kevin Stefanski is you've gotten it back to respectability. Now, can you elevate it to elite? That's the mission of Berry and Stefanski after they get the extensions. So they're on their second contracts. Now, take us to where we want to go.
Yeah, and the first step for me is stacking back-to-back seasons, double-digit wins, playoff appearances, and make a run. They came in 2020 and kind of it took off faster than I think even maybe they anticipated. But then you had a couple down seasons. Then you have last year. Now you got the stack back-to-back. That's how you start to climb. And it's all there for them. We talked about it before, and it's the nucleus of this team. There's plenty of talent, but there is a very high elite level of nucleus of this team that is all under the age of 30. This is set up to win for the next 3-4 seasons at this. And in that window is when you have to win it all. And that's what they're there for. It's every team's goal, but it's not realistic going into every season for every team. The Browns are at that point now where they're at the doorstep. And they've just got to take that next step, and if they do that, they'll be etched in history.
Yeah, and it starts with winning the AFC North. Not an easy thing, and the reason that I think that's the doorway, that's the pathway to a deep playoff run, because you start getting home playoff games in Cleveland in January. Nobody wants to come here. I am old enough to have covered home playoff games here. Nobody wants to be on that lakefront with the wind whipping in.
Well, that's another thing that they've done during their tenure is they've made it a true home field advantage again. For years, we could call ourselves a dog pound, and we know we're rowdy fans, but it was not a place where opposing teams struggled. It has finally become that. And that is the reason they have to win the North this year. You'd feel way better about your chances knowing if you kick the playoffs up on the lake. So I think you're 100% correct. That is the goal. That's the objective, and it's flat out time. It's time for them to go and win the North.
Here's the other thing: in his time with the Browns, really, Baker Mayfield made it through the first season healthy, and they won the playoff game COVID year. Other than that, he hasn't had a healthy quarterback. I mean, Mayfield got injured early in his second year. Watson had the 11-game suspension. Watson injured early in last season. I want to see him with the same quarterback, healthy, for 16 games that can play at a high level.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the main objective too for the quarterback scenarios. We have to see Watson healthy to know what he is. We keep getting these start and stops. That's what his tenure in Cleveland's been. Obviously in 22 he's suspended for the first 11, comes on late, doesn't look great. You go 3-3. But last year you started to see it at certain times when they started to get a little continuity, and then the injuries were just setbacks. So they need to get a full breath of a season with Deshaun Watson. And if you do that, I think you're in a very good spot with the way Stefanski can dial things up, the overall talent of this team, and I think that they have the upper bound limits to really challenge for the AFC.